What is going on, everyone? I want to talk about Game 4 just a little bit more. How unbelievable was that? How great was that win? That emotion? Oh, man, I remember sitting there on the couch like it was yesterday. It was yesterday. Freaking out, screaming, fist pumping, getting all hype. It was great. And just some more topics on the game. This Joel Embiid situation with the injury is mind-blowing. The dude goes from doubtful to limited in the first half, to having one of the most historic playoff games ever, with 31 points, 16 rebounds, 7 assists, 6 blocks. You don't know if he's going to play. You don't know if he's game time decision, questionable, doubtful, out. You don't know. And for him to have a mentality like that, and for him to be so limited early on and to just turn it on into a level that nobody can stop you and dominate the game and be an extreme difference maker and crush the Nets just like that after being so limited, after not knowing if you're going to play, it's crazy. It's literally crazy. And that goes with Brett Brown. That's a storyline with Brett Brown too. This coach doesn't even know if his superstar player is going to play or not until tip-off. You don't think that there's a difference between if Joel Embiid or Boban Marjanovic is playing? It's an obnoxiously huge difference, and he adjusts to that. Now, granted, he has an idea if he's going to play or not, so I'm sure he has two separate game plans. Like, okay, if Joel Embiid's not going to play, we're going to do this. If Embiid is going to play, we're going to do that. So he is prepared for both situations, that's without a doubt. But what about the Jimmy Butler thing? Going into this game, you think there was a thing in Brett Brown's mind saying, oh, Jimmy Butler might get kicked out today. What are we going to do if that happens? No. And once that happened, we actually turned it on. And now the players stepped it up to a different gear because of the emotion of the game, but Coach Brett Brown made some adjustments because you lose a star like Jimmy Butler, and he did a good job, and he held this thing together, and he made things happen. You got to rock with James Ennis. TJ McConnell had a very small minute of time or so, but he made moves on the fly in that circumstance, sitting there on the bench, not having this planned whatsoever and having to adjust and make things happen and put out lineups. I thought Brett did a good job yesterday. For the most part, Brett Brown has had a tremendous first series outside of Game 1. Ever since that freak out in the locker room in Game 2 at halftime, I thought he's done a tremendous job with this basketball team. Defensively in the fourth quarter, we were so good. We allowed 17 points in the fourth. Clamped down at the end. Mike Scott was talking postgame, saying things like, we made them uncomfortable. We played physical. We ran them off the three-point line. And that's why we were great in the fourth quarter. I wanted Mike Scott to be out on the floor during that fight, during that scuffle. That would have been electric. That would have been unbelievable. There would have been actual punches thrown. Which goes with this team chemistry right now. This team is going through war together. They are bonding in these moments. And it's all part of the growth. I keep bringing it up, but it's true. You need to realize that during this playoff run. These stars, Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid and Tobias, who's only 26, and I know Jimmy's a little older, but they need to go through these moments. They need to bond. Jimmy Butler, the team cancer, right? The team cancer that a not majority, but a decent amount of people didn't want at the time of the trade because he's such a cancer. Stop. The dude stood up for Joel Embiid, and post-game they're joking around, and Joel Embiid said, I'm paying your fine because you stood up for me, and that's awesome. This dude's sticking up for his teammates. There's a special bond there. Jimmy Butler does not hate this team. Jimmy Butler is not a team cancer. You even see other videos of him and the team equipment manager dapping up, having a pregame ritual. Yeah, real bad guy. He seems like a horrible human. He seems like he hates it here. Stop. The reason why this is different from other teams is because he's playing with other guys that have the same sort of mentality as Jimmy. Maybe not to the extreme of Jimmy, but mentally, guys like Andrew Wiggins and Karl Anthony Towns, that's not Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid, and Tobias Harris. And I've been on the record saying that before. It's two totally different type of rosters and two different cultures right now when it comes to mentality of players he's playing with. Jimmy Butler, stop it. Just stop it for the team cancer thing. The guy loves it here. He's stepping up for his teammates. He's defending them. He knows that Joel Embiid is the guy. Joel Embiid also knows that Jimmy Butler is the closer. He mentioned that. He said that was big, losing our closer. There's a mutual respect. I heard this from some NBA guys. You take a look at Shaquille O'Neal, Kobe Bryant back in that era. They both wanted to be the guys. They both wanted to dominate. They didn't mesh. You see the respect between Embiid and Butler and knowing their roles? This is all part of the growth. And yesterday was such a big game. Just being down like that, being emotional. Now, I'll say this. The Sixers, and I'm a little worried going into Game 5, but we should be able to handle business because of how great the energy is going to be in the Wells Fargo Center. But when they come out confident, they come out lackadaisical. They do. They're overconfident. They think they could just get it done. They come out slow. They come out sluggish. And they did that throughout the first parts of this Brooklyn Nets game in Game 4. And I'm just curious, how is that going to play out for Game 5? 3-1 series lead. Are they going to have enough in their mentality to just put them out of their misery? I hope so. I really do hope so. Also, speaking of that fight, though, that scuffle, I keep saying fight, but the scuffle, the Nets general manager got fined and suspended. He got fined $25,000 for going into the referee's room after and complained. What are you complaining about? You lost your role player, Jared Dudley, for our star, Jimmy Butler. What are you complaining about? Also, the refs wanted you to tie the series up so much. It was so noticeable. And you guys had more free throws than us. What are you complaining about? You lost a bench role guy for our star. What is the complaint? Would you really have went back and said, I'd want Jared Dudley in the game and you can have Jimmy Butler back? You take that trade-off every single time. Why would you not take that trade-off? What are you actually complaining about? And that's how dumb the Nets GM really is. Can't you see that? Don't you understand that? What are you fighting for? What's your purpose? You're telling me that you would rather have Dudley on the floor or we can have Jimmy Butler on the floor, or you wouldn't take both of those guys off? Stop. Come on, use logic. We all know the trade-off is nowhere even close. And that's why it bothered me. The refs should know that. We got punished for what Jared Dudley did. We got punished for Dudley running from half court pushing Embiid. Because the trade-off is so easily in their favor. What a joke. That guy's going to get ripped apart in the Wells Fargo Center on Tuesday. But I'm really proud of this team. I'm proud of guys like Tobias getting out of that slump. He had 24 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists. That's a really solid game all around. He did every aspect of the game. He did a really good job. Very proud of Tobias. I would like more out of JJ. He made that clutch three-pointer, which was huge, obviously, but he only had 9 points, and he didn't shoot the ball well. And it always seems when JJ struggles offensively, his defense is so much more noticeably bad because he's not matching it. It's similar to Boban. Boban gets torched all the time because he's too slow and he's too flat-footed and his feet are just obnoxiously slow. But in some games in the series, he was scoring 14. He was scoring 12. He was scoring double digits. So it didn't seem as bad because he was producing on the other end. But once you stop producing when you're a bad defender, your defense gets so noticeable. It gets so hideous. And we need more out of JJ, and he knows that. And he really needs to, give us a good outing. We can't be doing these 3 of 11s or, whatever the case may be, or whatever he finished with in Game 4. But just awesome. Honestly. And I'm curious to see how Joel Embiid is going to be utilized moving forward. We all thought he wasn't going to play yesterday. He played the 2 games he was doubtful. Like what? So who even knows at this point, honestly? But it's every day. You don't know. And that's a little concerning moving forward. I would like him to play and dominate and get this series over with. I don't want to be playing around. I need this team to come out and really show some if that makes sense. So just shut the door and close this bad boy out, especially at home. But we'll get into, Game 5 itself later on. Today is to appreciate that Game 4 win. The stretch. Coming down late, making plays happen, hanging around hanging around all game long. It wasn't pretty. It was one of those games where it was frustrating to watch for some times, and it seemed like every loose ball they were getting all these obnoxious rebounds, some crazy lucky bounces after some rebounds. It seemed like everything was going the Nets' way, but the Sixers kept hanging around 9, 8, 7 points. And then down the stretch in the fourth quarter, once the momentum switched with Dudley doing the stupidest thing in the world that he can do, once that switched, the Sixers turned it on, and we were great. And we came up big when we needed to down in the fourth quarter, from the J.J. Redick 3 to Joel Embiid to Embiid's pass on a broken play to Mike Scott, who puts it up, and unbelievable. We buried it. And it's a character builder. That's what it is. You need to take that for a really solid building moment. It really is, to be down like that. I don't want to hear it's just the Nets, because it goes farther than it's just the Nets. It's a tough position to be in. The Nets were up. You're in and away building. The atmosphere was against you. It was a tough spot to be in. And this team built character. They went through a fight. They went through a scuffle. They went through a battle. And then just the game in general. They went through war together. And it builds the team. The team is feeling it right now. I remember after game 1, everyone said Nets in 4. This team sucks. What are we doing? This is unbelievable. Bros, you're stupid. I can't believe you still think we're going to win. And here we are, 3-1. It's because we're the better team. It's the first round. We are the better team. And I want this team, I demand this team to go out there in game 5 and seal the deal back at the Wells Fargo Center. They're a better team. And when they play, when they put on their full game mode, they're dominating this Nets team. But yesterday was awesome. There's no doubt about that. Emotional. It doesn't matter how you get out of the first round. I'll state this again. The Boston Celtics went 7 games with the Milwaukee Bucks last year in the first round. They also went 7 in the Eastern Conference Finals. It doesn't matter how it happens. It's just survive and advance, if you will. I know that's the March Madness term, but it is truth here. The Celtics won in 7 games in the first round last year, and they went to the 7 in the Eastern Conference Finals. Well, we have a chance to end it in 5. That would be nice. But I'm just saying, it's about getting out of the first round, and we're obviously in a great position to do that after that awesome emotional win yesterday in Brooklyn. Let me know your thoughts down below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.